Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. We're one day away from how to deal with negativity. Jakey, Bakey, Andrew, and Jesus. 1, 2, 3. Billy Thomas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Puff Daddy. Welcome, Brandon. Everybody, welcome on a Thursday. Tomorrow, how to deal with negativity. We're looking and sounding great here. We got a active day. Jeremy Greenfield, a name from the past. My man, what's going on? Thank you. Without Jake, it's hard to get that hair looking good. What's left of it, at least. Let's get the questions rolling. We'll pin up where to register. If you want to try out for my new TV show, 2-minute drill, then go ahead, text me at 949-298-2905 or email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'd love to have you and love to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking for Nathan at rodeo. Let me get one quick call. I'm doing great. Let's see here. What was your biggest tool to manage the ego down to only moments? And what Andrew means by that is that everybody. Hey, Cindy, I liked your post. Thank you. It was the first one I saw it for this morning. The pinkalator, my favorite pink woman. Welcome. Thank you for coming to my live. Anyway, where the heck was I? Yeah, get these extraordinary people like Cindy. Everyone loves her look. And now all of a sudden I lose my train. Oh, yeah. So everyone has an ego. So no matter how much you do and what you do, what I say is that you want to keep on. Hey, Kathy, as well, the best PR agent I know. Cindy Pink CEO. Check her out. So the ego, I was in ego-based consciousness for years. And then it went to months, and then weeks, and then days, and then hours. And then now I practice when I'm in ego-based emotion moments. And so if you're in that moments, whether you have an intimate relationship, employees, overhead, COVID, those are all things that are a great place to practice ending fear. And so we practice ending fear, and speed and better is the key variable in which I think helps us succeed. And so very, very good. I see Nathan Heck right in front of me.
What's
How
up?
are you? How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Oh,
Thanks.
there we go. Hey, that's a real background, right?
That's legit. That's New York City right behind me.
Oh, my heart is singing. Look at that. People ask me what I miss most. It's not the traveling. It's actually being in New York City twice a month. I can't wait till I get to go back. Look at
Empire
that.
State Building.
Yeah. My family apartment was 40th and 2nd. And in the early days, we could see all the way to the Empire State Building from our apartment.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, very cool. Well, roto, obviously, I have so much going on in the automotive space. I don't know why, but I do. The space of buying and leasing cars has changed immensely in the last 16 weeks. Obviously, I think roto is sitting in a great position to help facilitate those types of transactions. Give us a little background of, why and how those distinctive properties of the company are doing so well.
Sure. So first of all, just a tiny plug background on the company. Roto is an app where consumers can buy or lease a car without ever going into the dealership. A new car, which is very, very unique to the internet. And basically you download the app, you register, you see vehicles around you from dealerships, but you see specific pricing like monthly payments and duet signings that are specific to you, specific to the vehicle that you're looking at. And then complete the transaction right through the app, and you get the car delivered to your house the next day. So what's happened in the last 16 weeks that's so big is as we've gone through this COVID crisis, where consumers are hesitant to go into car dealerships, which is a place where you interact and you shake hands and you socialize. Instead, you can get the same vehicle at an amazing price, literally in a couple of swipes through the app, and have the car delivered to you.
And can you go and can you reach a different region? Meaning, if you're willing, can you search the entire country or just New York?
Yeah, if you wanted to, but when you come into the app by default, we're looking at the area that's right around you, zip codes that are relevant to you. But on your account page, you can change it. We have customers who are getting cars from Maryland because they might be cheaper if you're in LA or if you're in Boston and you Chicago may be cheaper. You can do that, but it is geolocating vehicles that are relevant to you primarily.
Oh, that's awesome. And so for you, how have you marketed it differently? Because obviously pre-COVID, the marketing would be more in a, I think a competitive alternative and supplemental way instead of really a primary way of buying a car.
Right. So there's actually, it's very interesting what's happened during COVID specifically. Advertising prices in certain areas collapsed. Like radio, for example, as there were so few people on the road, the price to buy a radio ad came down dramatically. So we were lucky enough to have a relationship with iHeart prior to the Corona crisis that then just went, through the roof because pricing was so good. And also a lot of dealerships stopped advertising, and a lot of sort of the competing noise that would normally be competing with us to try to get the customer's attention sort of went to the wayside. So we devoted a lot to radio over the last few months, and it turned out to be very well. Of course, social is a huge part of it, social influencers and so on. And then the social media ads themselves also, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, in some areas, pricing has come down also pretty dramatically. And specifically in automotive, again, as everybody sort of tightened their purse strings a little bit, from the manufacturers through the dealerships and so on, as prices come down, it's given smaller companies, startup-like companies, an opportunity to now come to the forefront. So we put a lot of emphasis on that also, and it's worked really well. And then our standard stuff, we always have promotions going on. We always have referral programs going on. Tell a friend, they get something, you get something, and stuff like that. But to finalize, the number one advertisement for us is our happy customer. And I know it sounds cliche.
No.
Make people happy, and they will tell their friends about it.
I teach a 5 to Thrive sales system, and the fourth step is the most important. It's 80% of the business. I call it managing and developing a vision. So it's one thing to sell a car, but to be, especially, the bar is set so low of managing and developing a vision when somebody actually gets a car, especially if financing or leasing is involved. It's great. There's no bigger letdown from, my experience, a car lover, when I decide on the car, I want to get it. And then I spend, in the old days, especially the next 48 hours trying to figure out what back-end selling, overselling, manipulating, and lying was going on in order to facilitate a car to my door. And now it's amazing, in a few swipes, like you say, and everything is straightforward. One of the things that's interesting too, I was a consultant early on in newspaper advertising for cars. So understand the compliance side. The company was called CYA. And the compliance side, how has the compliance regulations changed throughout these years that now on an app in a matter of minutes, you can get a car delivered directly to your home?
Such an interesting topic that you just raised. It's complicated. It's complicated to navigate regulatory issues, especially things that are regulated at a federal level, at a state level, and so on. And every part of the automotive industry is regulated, right? From how and when you're allowed to check a consumer's credit, to the type of advertisement, to your point, that you're allowed to show a customer, and the disclaimers relating to it, and so on. So it's a minefield, something that we've been sort of navigating since the inception of the company. But I think we do a pretty good job. It's evolving too. In some states, we're running up to legislators and saying, hey guys, there's a line of regulation here that may impact us, and we're an internet business and it shouldn't impact us, and so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting category. But I think in general, as we evolve and companies like Tesla sort of open the road, if you will, and companies like other EV companies and self-driving car companies, we're following their lead. So, for example, Tesla doesn't even have dealerships in the traditional sense. Every transaction is done online, and their showrooms are really parking lots with like one car for you to just get comfortable with it, and that's it. So
or a showroom at a mall. They have a showroom in a mall.
Exactly, a showroom in a mall. Literally, it's like you can walk into an Apple store, you walk into a Tesla store.
Yeah, that's what we have in Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, Cindy asked what my favorite car was. So I always say these cars can be favorites for, I have a 55 Ford Thunderbird, which is my absolute favorite car in mint condition. But, the technology wise, 2013 Tesla, to me, it's 7 years old, and I still can't believe the technology in that car. And favorite car to drive ever is Porsche 911 Carrera convertible. I had one in my 20s. Best looking car I ever had was a Ferrari. Worst car ever to own, Ferrari. And my favorite normal car, this will surprise people because you can buy them really cheap, but the Lexus 430 SC convertible, like a 2004, that car, it's like driving a couch, but it looks amazing. And I think you can pick them up for 7 or 8 grand right now used. So anyway, we'll keep going. One last question, because I'm always curious when you have, a company that I'm a big believer in roto. Let me just tell you, I will be using it on my next car because I'm working out of a closet. I want my car delivered to my driveway, right? And I like to know exactly straightforward. It's my time and emotion I'm worried about, and it's great. But people are building these types of companies, and there's going to be more and more of these types of companies that'll be in the next decade for sure. I don't think people understand how the business structure of employees work, right? I think they think it's just you and, developers in India sitting in your apartment. What are the categories of people that are involved in executing your business?
It starts with a visionary of some sort, someone who sort of, has the idea and says, hey, let's change something, let's do something, let's disrupt something. It evolves to the doers, and in technology specifically, it's a variety of groups of people, and the people are the company. Pardon me. There's nothing without the people, literally nothing. So in a tech company like ours, development team that handles the technology and the product. It's a design team that handles, the brand and design. It's an operations team that processes orders. It's a sales team that builds out your network of dealerships, of people, a really unique group of people spread out throughout the country. We're based in New York, but we have people in many different states that really touch on every single aspect of the business, and they are the company. And without them, there is nothing. Everybody is a wheel, if you will, that without one of them, no pun intended, without one of them or one of those groups, there's nothing.
And I think the biggest lesson too is one in which Steve Jobs, for someone that his personality may have been abrasive and he's a difficult individual to deal with, he totally understood the consumer. And I have sold more Apple products for free with no referral fees at all because he managed and developed my vision from the very first time I switched from a RIM 957 pager phone and my ThinkPad running, right? He has done a great job, and I see Roto doing the exact same thing in an industry where that word of mouth, that credibility, the way you manage and develop a vision, the time that car shows up and then you're advertised everywhere because people say, hey, you got a new car. Oh my God, yeah, you got to try out Roto. Because that pain is so big for anyone that has purchased or leased a brand new car. And now being certain about the price and being able to have the efficiencies of exactly what you want and the reach around the country. Phenomenal job. Nathan, like I said, my next car, I'll be popping on the app. Everybody go to Roto, download it. I'm sure it's on all the different platforms.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Dave. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day. Let us know if you need anything.
I'm going to need a new car, and I'm going to come to New York, and we'll go out to eat at Davio's, one of my favorite restaurants.
Absolutely. On me.
All right. Thank you. Take care, Nathan.
Good one.
All right. This is a good day. Cindy's on here. You see the great stuff here. I love it. All right. Well, we're going to go from that to one of my friends. We met in Washington, D.C. An incredible story of recovery. Doug Bops is a good friend and great story. I'm gonna let him share a little bit about that story in a minute. I told him 8:15, but let me just answer a quick question before I go to that. During your transformation, what was the hardest lesson you had to learn? Radical humility. By far, still the hardest lesson that I have to learn is radical humility. I fight it every single day, and it just sways. The more successful you are, and it goes again and again. Got to be radically humble. Allow things to come through you for others. I'm ferocious Buddha about receiving things so I can give them to others. And the more you receive, it's just hard to stay into that state of mind of blessing and neutrality to give to others unconditionally. I have a professional athlete of one of my executive clients yesterday, and things are up in the air with his contract, and he's talking about giving money to his family. And I told him, I said, look, we don't borrow money, we give money. And if there's any interference, corrosion, or resistance, find the radical humility. And if you can give it unconditionally, give it away, and you have released all ownership of what you've received. Jonte, this is a big day, man. Jonte Hall, the smallest, Jonte not so small, but the smallest professional basketball player, 5'2", Harlem Globetrotter, incredible, inspirational speaker. So let's get Dougie Boy on here. I saw him. You guys are going to love this story, and we'll add him in here. Doug, welcome to the IG Live this morning with all these great guests coming on and listening and loving us. Here we go. Doug. There he is.
What's up, man? How are you?
You know what? It's great to see. There's certain people, you met them in person, became friends, and then it seems like, long lost fraternity brothers. When I saw you pop up, I was like, hey, how are you?
I know, man. Same here. That's the way I feel with you, man. I'm so grateful for our trip. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to meet you when we were in DC. And man, there's a lot of stuff's happened since then, huh?
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff. Now, number one, I'm gonna say this publicly. Marshall Falk, I know you follow me. I know you watch me, and we got a call next Sunday. This is the guy that I want you to meet. So, quit avoiding me, right? I feel like, what was the Rocky movie? Remember, he quit ducking me with Mr. T?
Yeah. Mr. T.
Quit ducking me, Marshall. This guy needs to be and talk to you. So we'll get him there. Anyway, why don't you share your story? Because more people need to know your story. I love your story. I love you, because especially now during COVID, I talk about getting up, getting back up, getting started, getting restarted. You have a great story about having motivation to convert into inspiration.
Yeah, man. It's funny. Today I'm an entrepreneur. I've written 3 books. I've got my own podcast. I'm doing all these great things. But it wasn't long ago that I was in the depths of despair and incarcerated on felony drug charges back in 2008. And I was hopeless. I was having suicidal thoughts. I was highly addicted to Oxycontin. And my cellmate forced me to start working out when I was in jail. And it saved my life. And I couldn't do a push-up from my knees. And just with him pushing me, encouraging me, training me in there for a few months, I was able to do a set of 10 push-ups and run a mile. And I remember, like, the last day of my sentence, I said, how will I ever repay you? He said, just pay it forward and don't mess up. And I got out, saved the workout routine he gave me. I kept it in my place so I never forget where I came from. And just got on a mission, lost 50 pounds. And then got to a point fitness-wise where I wanted to help other people use fitness to change their lives. Became a personal trainer. I've been a trainer, too, for almost a decade. And it's been quite a ride, man. The felony ended up coming off my record. Wrote a few books as a reflection of my story. The Today Show had me on to feature my story, Men's Health, all these other major media outlets. But what it's always been about for me is just inspiring people and sharing so that my story can then touch one person and then that touches another and so on and so forth.
Well, one of the lessons I learned from reading your books, I believe in compound interest, the aggregate accumulative effect of what we think, say, do, and believe. And a lot of people, they wonder why, people that are in recovery, addicts, people, that behavior just needs to be turned and focused. What you pay attention to and give intention to just needs to change, and the coincidences in your life change. And so if you're someone out there that, is stuck in the thralls of that depression, anxiety, drug use, alcohol use, whatever, and, we share so many friends that are just leading the way in so many industries that have had these issues. All you have to do is re-engineer your focus and have the same type of, aggregate compound interest that was taking you downwards. It'll take you upwards just as quick.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Where your energy goes, the energy flows, right? So if you're thinking about your past and all the negativity, and you're hanging around toxic friends and people who bring you down, and you're eating fast food and not moving, that's what's going to flow in your life. Versus if you can just transition that into positive energy, like channel that like negative stuff into something positive, working out, hanging around with the good people who bring the best out in you, having gratitude, getting involved in some sort of spirituality practice that works for you, which I know you and I share very similar views on. And also like just knowing that like you have every day we're surrounded with choices. Who we're going to brush our teeth, are we going to make our bed, what we're going to eat, who we're going to talk to on the phone, what we're going to watch, who we're going to follow. And the same goes for like when you're getting into recovery from drugs. You have a choice who you're going to surround yourself with, what kind of activities you're going to do, where you're going to spend your time and energy. And that's what it needs to happen. There needs to be a redistribution. We talk about redistribution of wealth, right? There needs to be a redistribution of energy when you're trying to make a major life change.
I love that, man. And I'm doing a training this Friday. I do them every Friday, but on how to deal with negativity. And so they can see pin below, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Make sure you register. But Doug, can you give me your best piece of advice that I should be teaching on how to deal with negativity? Because I'm sure as you're sitting in a cell, even though you have an inspiring roommate there trying to push you, there's a lot of negative thoughts, actions, and words going around in prison.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing, man, is getting rid of the victim mentality. I think so many times we play the victim, and it leads into a lot of more negativity, right? Because the biggest thing is like, it's not about our circumstances, it's how we respond to them. So what I mean by that is sometimes we have this golf ball size problem. It turns into a bowling ball size problem by the way we react and respond. And so when you have a negative situation, you have negative thoughts, it's like gratitude comes in such handy because you have the ability to like just focus on like just whatever positive you have in your life, right? Instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. I mean, for many, it's our health. For many, it might be a few people that are in our corner. It could be the fact that we are able to walk. It could be that we have, and just focus on that. Because if you're focusing on all the negative stuff, whether it's mistakes, whether you're in that jail cell and you're thinking about like the money you don't have, you're going to focus on that and you're going to be super depressed. So why not, rechannel that? And I see Trevor just hopped on. Trevor,
Yeah.
what up, man? I'd love to interview you on my show, by the way. Shameless plug.
I'll give you Doug's number, Trevor. Trevor went to college with me. He's an Occidental guy as well. And he is a superstar of teaching me the majesty of calmness, how to live into the right trajectory by having that complete focus, and works with the biggest athletes in the world. So I'll make sure I hook you up with Trevor as well. And he jumps on here. So thank you, my brother. Good to see you, Trevor. One more thing.
Yes.
So a lot of times what causes the negative spiral in our life is we've surrounded ourselves not only with the wrong ideas, but the wrong people. And
Right.
ironically, you went to jail to find the right person to hang out with, right? And that changed your life because you started to hang out. You're the aggregate of the 5 people you spend the most time with. How did you, after you got out, divorce some of those people that were probably spiraling you down and causing that negative effect?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you want to be surrounding yourself with people who have common futures and not common pasts. And the way I did was I started changing myself and working on myself, changing my habits, changing my health, changing my goals, my vision. And then those old friends didn't align with me anymore. So they were almost like strangers. So it almost felt like awkward to be around them. And I think so many times, you got to acknowledge that just because it's not that you're outgrowing people are choosing not to grow with you. And, you have to really look at, do I want to be that person 10 years from now that's so thankful that I was able to move on from my old life, my old friends, and now I'm have a successful career, family, that sort of thing? Or do you want to be the latter that's man, I'm so miserable. I can't believe I didn't, trust my intuition, trust my gut. And here's another thing, man, is that it's about sacrifice. There was days where I would be on the couch by myself watching TV, watching the Food Network, watching Dancing with the Stars, because I was all right, I would rather be by myself in isolation than run the risk of hanging around people that bring me down and that I would potentially, slip up and use drugs again around. And so it's like it's about sacrifices. You can't get to good, you can't go from good to great without making a sacrifice. You really can't.
I have an old saying. I always say, "Hey, all you cowards out there, look in here, right? Look within yourself." But one of the
Yeah.
ways to look in your own energy and to shift your own energy is to improve your exterior, right?
Yes.
And you're a really interesting case because a lot of people will go to meditation and energy work first and then kind of figure out the external side. But you actually started with someone just pushing you to externally get into shape, and that transformed your inner belief system and the energetic perspective that you have. Um, can you kind of explain why you think, your physical appearance had such a dramatic effect on your inner self?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think our physical experience is an outward expression about how we feel inside, right? I think sometimes like mental fitness and physical fitness go hand in hand, and it's like if one's up, the other one will be up. If one's down, the other will be down. And so it was really about just showing myself love, that I deserved to take care of my body in a way that was nourishing, that I felt good, that I felt confident, that I had self-esteem. And I'm not saying you have to be completely vain about it, like walking around with your shirt off all the time. But what I am saying is there's no better way of showing yourself that you care and that you value yourself than moving your body and eating right and what you're putting in, because it not only, trickles down physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. You're going to have better energy. You're going to sleep better. You're going to move better. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. And it's just kind of like, it's just going to pay dividends. And I think when you look in the mirror and you're happy with that person that you see, then you're able to be a beacon of light to others. And I also think that the best way to look in the mirror and be appreciative of who you are is to exercise, do things to make yourself quote unquote look better naked, right? That's the goal I think a lot of people want. It's not about body fat. It's not about like weight. It's about, can you look in the mirror and be happy with the person you see?
Yeah, it's amazing because, genius is an expression of the source, love, light, lessons that we're always connected to. Your body is an expression of you.
Mm,
And, understanding that expression is so important. Last thing before I let you go,
yes.
you've written those books. You have a great podcast. What's the name of the podcast?
The adversity advantage.
The Adversity Advantage. All the great guests that you've had, and we're going to bring some more to you as well. What's your favorite lesson or your go-to lesson?
I would say, everybody's got a story. And it's the biggest lesson I've learned from all the guests is everyone has a story. And the common theme is they have used hard times to grow. They've used hard times and they've made a huge setback into something that's vastly changed their life into a big comeback. And the reason I share that is right now we're probably in the hardest time that anyone's ever experienced, right? And if you can just sit on the fact that right now you're learning less, gaining wisdom, you're becoming stronger, you're becoming wiser, that then it will propel you in the next 5 years to grow into like an extremely incredible human being. You're going to be a lot more motivated and inspired than if you focus on the fact that we're in a pandemic or there's all this tension and you're just constantly putting your energy towards that, because then you won't open up your energy in your body for growth. You'll still be saturated in the past.
That's awesome, man. Well, I think we're going to get you a product placement for Starbucks. You just conveniently put that sign right into the left
Oh,
side of the thing.
sorry.
That's awesome. I know it's good, man. Anyway, Doug, man, everyone has to go read his books, check out his podcast. What a great soul you are, a good friend. I'm going to bring some more guests to you, my friend. Just reach out, and when this is over, let's get together again, okay?
All right, brother. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks, Doug. We'll see you
See
soon.
you, man.
Right
Bye-bye.
on. Awesome. Woo! It's a good day. All right, let me take one quick question, and then I'm going to bring my friend Glenn. Everybody has a friend, Glenn. I'm going to bring Glenn on. Let me just answer a quick question. Friday, perfect guest to Friday, right? How to deal with negativity. There's a lot of negativity in his life, and he has turned it all around. Just email me if you want my free books, my free guides, exercises, david@dmeltzer.com. 949-298-2905. You can try out for my new TV show. You can get my free books. You can register for free training. The best part is it's all free. If it's free, it's me, and now it's you too. That's my tagline for free. Let's answer a quick question and then bring Glenn on. Um, Here we go. Have you ever listened to David Goggins? Yes. And Jocko Willem? Yes, yes, yes. Quick question. They're great. Coach Billy Donovan talks about being vulnerable is powerful. Tell your story. Love it. Yep. Everyone should tell their story of vulnerability. Remember this: being vulnerable is being invulnerable. When you have no attacking thoughts, you cannot be attacked. Think about that. All right. Let's bring on my friend, Glenn. Where are you at, Glenn? I saw you on here. Do I have to back up to the high life? Let me see here. Go ahead, post again, Glenn, if I can't find you real quick. Let's go jet it. You're here somewhere. I saw you. Glenn, where are you, my friend? Come make a request to see me. Where'd you go? Sorry, Jakey Bakey. I'm blowing your smooth transition here on live. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. There it is. All right, I will go live with Go Jet It, CEO of at Jet It. There he is, my
All right.
man. Hi, Glenn.
I'm great, David. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. I had to have you on because, I at times when it's economically a return on investment, I will fly private. And because I want to make more money, that's why I fly private. But I was looking at your business model and the price of trips that I've taken compared to the price that you're able to give trips. It's about 1/4 to 1/5, sometimes even 1/6 the price. And I used to fly. Let me just say this: I used to fly private to impress people I didn't like. Now I only fly private when it's profitable. And you probably understand what I'm talking about better than others. That flying private can be very profitable for certain people when they need to get somewhere directly at the exact same time, fully rested, quickly back and forth. Because I've been in situations I would not have gotten a business deal, a 7-figure business deal, but for the fact, I could get dropped off right there, get back and get home. And I've also, by the way, I'm going to let you talk in a minute because I have to tell the story. The time I spent the most time flying private is when my son was young and 7 years old. He asked me to coach his flag football team, and I dedicated that I would not miss a practice or a game. And I told him, he was the most important thing in my life, and I had to live by my word. That was the most expensive promise. It was also the most I've ever flown private because these are exact examples of how life is so important and how important what you do is. I'm a little bit bummed now because that expensive flag football season, which cost me more than, a season for the Chargers, could have been a 4th or a 5th or a 6th less. Give me your business model. How do you guys do this at Jet?
Yeah, so David, thank you for having me. Really excited to spend this time with you. We're in line with exactly what you describe on your website. Make a lot of money and make people happy in the process. That's what we do. As you mentioned, we have the opportunity to fly for $1,600 an hour. You're buying a piece of the airplane. In exchange for that, the airplane's yours for a number of days. And when you're not using it, we'll put it into the on-demand market. And we'll reap our benefits there, and we'll give you all of the benefits and savings up front for you as an owner and an operator. So,
And do you guys own those planes then and timeshare it out as ownership?
absolutely, that's correct. That's correct. So it's.
I was gonna say, is there a selection of different planes?
We use an all Honda Jet fleet. The Honda Jet is a 6-passenger airplane, extremely spacious, very quiet, fast. Same speed as a Citation XLS. So unless you need 8 people, it doesn't make sense to use more aircraft than this airplane. So New York to South Florida range, and it's a great platform for that. So we keep our costs down by using a single fleet.
And are you countrywide, national, or international?
Yeah, we're expanding across the country. We actually have 2 airplanes, one in Colorado today, California today, but predominantly they're based across the country. We have what we call a floating fleet. So the airplanes are moving in and out of wherever our passengers need them to be.
And, obviously with COVID, a lot of people don't understand. I mean, travel has been constraint, but, I had a business opportunity I had to utilize. And, private is actually safe, efficient, easy way to get to places and, keep, the business people or your family safe.
Sure, sure. This time right now is so challenging for us all, and our hearts go out to the first responders and the families that are having challenges. A very good friend of mine who was in my wedding has a father who is suffering right now, and we pray many blessings and to bring him back soon. But it has been good for private aviation, and I think in large part people are realizing that until we know what's going on, until we have some kind of vaccine for the virus, who knows? Private aviation, it creates an opportunity to reduce the odds. When you're traveling publicly on the commercial airlines, who knows what's going to happen to you, or you're exposed to, or what you're exposed to. So it's been good for us in that sense.
And what's the minimum buy-in as far as days go?
Sure. The minimum buy-in is 25 days. That's 10% of the aircraft, and it works out pretty well. Our owners under the current tax code can write that off if they have a business need. So it really is a great incentive. And Congress has also introduced the CARES Act, which actually allows you to take advantage of those tax incentives for about 5 years back. So it's a great tool to help spur the market and to keep people traveling and moving. We all need to travel for keeping our business moving, and for us being a small and medium-sized business company supporter, it's great for that market.
And is there financing for that, since it is a purchase in respect, right? Is there financing available?
We do have a financing option. It's not our primary means, but we do have financing available. Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. And, where do you see the business going? Because obviously you've taken a hybrid of a bunch of different models that have existed. When I ran Lee Steinberg, the sports agency, even Warren was a marquee guy, and Senshin and NetJet, and then Wheels Up is a big partner of ours through years. And, we especially enjoy that relationship because of the hospitality portion of what they do. But as a business person too, when, you're seeing big commercials and big hospitality, it's like walking into a law office. I remember I had a client, he created Grey Goose vodka, and he walked into a law office, and expensive furniture, high rise, expensive things on the wall. And he came in and he turned around and he goes, "I'm not using these guys." I was like, "How do you know? You haven't even talked to him?" He said, "'Cause I'm not paying for all this shit." Right?
Absolutely.
A lot of people get impressed, but what do you want to pay for? Do you want to actually pay for the flight in the plane, or do you want to pay for a party?
Absolutely.
Really interesting.
For us, David, it's purely about the experience. Getting there is one thing, but we're creating memories, and you can expend all of your resources on getting to and from, like you talked about when you were getting there for your son's games. But that was a commitment you made to him. That was important to you. That was important to him, and that was the memory that you were paying for. In our case, you can still have that memory, but instead you don't have to pay an excess to get there. And that's what we do. And that's why we're able to grow quickly. We're expanding across the country. We've got 2 airplanes coming to us this month. And one of those is going out of the country with our sister company and my co-founder, Vishal, with Jet Club. So really excited about what the future holds for Jet, for Jet Club, and for our industry as a whole.
And they just go, it's at gojetit.com, gojetit.com, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Awesome. Well, I will be reaching out. Oh, and can you share the share that? So if I had 5 business partners, could 6 of us share that?
Yeah, if you guys are buying in together, absolutely. It's
or a company can swap out the different people as well.
That's correct. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
So we're allowed to do that, and we have people who do that currently. So.
Yeah, it's been a good day because two of the 3 people that have come on, you obviously, and Roto, right? We're just rethinking things in a better, more efficient, effective, and statistically successful way. I love the business model, and you got a big fan here. I will reach out, absolutely, especially the next time my son wants me to coach a team, because I can't wait to travel again, man. New York looks so good to me. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn Gonzalez with @GoJetIt. GoJetIt.com. Check it out. It's a great, unique way to save money, to make a lot of money, and help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, especially during this time that we're in. So thank you so much for joining me, Glenn.
My pleasure, David. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Great business models today, huh? All right. I know Jakey Bakey's on there. So, Dave, let's go fly private. Only when we can make money from it. It has to be a ROI. They actually can do it cheap enough where you can get an ROI. Think about this: an hour, 6 people divided by $1,600, right? That's $250, right? What? And you get to leave when you want. You save so much time, and now you got a very safe mechanism, not hanging out in airports with masks. You're at a small little hangar. So check it out. I like it. Anyway, let's answer some questions before we spend all our money today on private jets. What do you think? What is more important, time or money? Why do people separate time and money, right? Time and money are man-made constructs, right? They come from the same energy. Time is a man-made construct. It's changing. It's changed. The calendars have changed. The days have changed. It's relative to other things. Money is a currency that vibrates fast, and currency that you can attract what you want with, right? An object of energy that you put into flow to get what you want. So determinative upon the man-made construct of what you're trying to work with, money or time, to maximize what? The objectives that you put forth according to your personal experiential giving and receiving values. So if you know your what, then you can anything relate it synergistically, supplementarily, align it to what's important to you. So if time is more aligned with what's important to you, or is money more aligned today, right? Because we're not afraid of changing our values, changing what we want. So that's why taking inventory of your values is so important, because that is what determines what's important to you, not to anybody else. You want to elect what you want in your life. All right, we're going to talk about that, because those values relate to dealing with negativity. You got to email me, david@dmeltzer.com, for anything you want for free. 949-298-2905. Join me. Go Jet It. You can see the information up there as well. Roto, and of course, my friend Doug Bops. Read his books and his podcast. Remember, everybody, join me Friday, please, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, or on Monday, get the downloads. They're all replays are for free. I can send you those as well. We have ultimate ego guides. We have the perfect pitch, the 5 to Thrive sales system, which I mentioned today. So many different things we could give you to help empower you, to empower others to be happy. That's what these people are doing, sharing their time, sharing their knowledge, and sharing their business ideas and structures with us. Remember, everybody, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks.